Hello, it is I, Sir Devon of Kang Productions, and welcome back to another episode of the Drummond State Line. So today, I did a few expansion things, and I made a sort of mountain range type area, because I'm getting into the Riverdale County, or, I made Riverdale North and Riverdale South, so I decided to kind of recreate that landscape where it's set in, and it's filmed in a beautiful location. I definitely want to live in a place like that, so I decided to alter the stations, and I've named it Stellic City. So in the Lego Hero Factory arc, Von Nebula, there was a place called New Stellic City, and I decided to name it Stellic after that. And I've renamed this not Riverdale North, but Hawkins, of course, after the location in Stranger Things, because I thought, it's a nice place to have both Riverdale and Hawkins as neighbours. Riverdale South is the next station. I got a bit confused towards and heading outward from Stellic, so I'll try and alter that when I get the chance. And then I did Riverdale North, which is the main station, because south and north of Riverdale are two different locations. And I also decided to add a bit of a mountain type route, and I wanted to alter the curves to prevent any crashes or sharp turns, which can really bug someone. And I decided to add a bit of a viaduct. That's where the river's going to be, the Sweetwater River. Then Pawnee, of course, named after Parks and Recreation. I'm basically just naming everything after a US TV show here. And then I expanded on the mountain range type area that we needed to make. I think this part is going to be very, I don't know, much like that area of America where it's all mountains and stuff. It's a beautiful location. Nice setting for Riverdale, Greendale, Pawnee. And I also decided to add a bit of a valley as well. To make it like a corridor type line, and also make it the illusion that we're actually going up a mountain and not just, just one straight line. And you can see I decided to use the slope preset because I wanted it to have that mountain-like feel, and I'm also going to make a mountain-like railway in another location, which I've probably spoilt already. I didn't want to make the track too much near the mountains, purely because of, and I also decided to experiment with a few things here. As I was saying, purely because if there was a landslide, it would affect the track anyway, but it would take a longer bit of time to get to the main track for safety reasons. And also it's a nice view for the passengers as well. I'm thinking of putting somewhere along here some kind of war memorial for a great battle that happened. But anywho, next up we're building our next station, which is Greendale. So I decided to experiment with a load of stations like I did last time, with Stellic, and a station that really felt like a proper station. And of course, if you don't know where Greendale is the area set in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. which is also set in the Archieverse. Which was what I think the best Archieverse show that they made, because it wasn't Riverdale, and as season 4 came along, it started to feel more like Riverdale. So anywho, I decided to bring in Greendale. Each station I'm going to make distinctively different, so I've renamed it Greendale. And of course, it's not Greendale without Postman Pat. Yes, Greendale was also the location from well-known British show Postman Pat. Sadly, I couldn't find a Jess the cat to have in, but I decided to have a post office van just to pay homage to Postman Pat. And also, I'm adding a Greendale narrow gauge line, or a mountain line. So here we have, sorry, this is kind of the line to Pawnee. Sorry, I decided we immediately went from Greendale to Pawnee. I think because all the videos were messed up in a way, and as you can see, I'm trying to add some terrain to Hawkins. But obviously, I didn't do that. I wanted to make it sort of a mountain-like line, and I'm sorry about this, folks. And then I did... Yeah, the track bit on this was very confusing, because, you know, you can't really connect to the tunnel and without it going invisible. And I wanted the track to be visible. I wanted it to be good for presentation, because presentation on this means a good route and nicely detailed. Adding a few more mountains to Hawkins. And then this is the process of building Pawnee Station. So yeah, this is... I want to keep it like a 2-track line, because I didn't want to ruin the landscape too much. And this was the original Pawnee Station. No, this was Riverdale North or Riverdale South or whatever it was. No, this was one of the Riverdales. Yeah, this was one of the Riverdales. Sorry, this is Riverdale, or one of the Riverdales. But yeah, I didn't want to make North and South too far from each other, because I wanted it to feel like a town. Yeah, I think that was Riverdale South. Originally, Hawkins was Riverdale South, but there was too much of a distance, so I went on for the Riverdale North and South type thing later on in the line. And then I experimented with all the options that you have. And one thing I will say about mountains is it can get very annoying sometimes. But as I've said, I wanted to recreate the locations where Riverdale and Sabrina were filmed, because they're filmed in such beautiful locations. I think this track is mainly influenced from shows like Siren, Sabrina, Riverdale, you know, all that area. And there's a lot of options to make it vastly detailed as well. Yeah, I made Riverdale North look more rich, I think, because the South and the North are two completely ends of the town if you've watched the show. And then we have the Greendale mountain trek. So I wanted to make this like a real mountain railway, inspired by the Snaefell line in the Isle of Man, which I went to years ago. I was very young when I went, and I could barely see anything. So I based it on your typical mountain route to make it feel like, you know, you were on a mountain. And I wanted to make it all terrainy. And the secret about this line is it's the illusion that you're going up a mountain. You've got to give it that feel that you're actually going up and not, you know, because that would really be, I don't know, I suppose, I know I'll have to reevaluate this later on if I feel like reevaluating it, because, you know, and all the terrain that you get. It's very hard to do terrain in this because one simple mistake could make the trains defy physics and make it look like something glitchy, and I don't want that. I want it to be realistic and living like a real railway. I decided to plateau some of the mountains as well to make way for the track. And I wanted to give it that, the end of the line, I wanted to make it that. I really didn't know when I wanted the track to end, because I was having so much fun making the mountain-like terrain and giving it that valley and all that jazz that you get. So I wanted it to have a view as well, and gave it a station. So I decided to name it Mount Moria, obviously after the location on Lord of the Rings. And then that's the exact line. That's a sneak peek, a sneaky bit that's past that mountain area. I'm also going to add some extra terrain to Greendale, I think, to make it look like a mountainside town. So that's just about it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. So goodbye and good night.